All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are at our final course of understanding how Premiere Pro works. And for this course, we're going to be applying all of our knowledge. So what I want you guys to do is I want you to go down below. You're going to find a link for some raw footage. I want you to go ahead and download this raw footage. Make sure you open up Premiere Pro right with me behind, this course or next to this course, wherever it is. And you make sure you follow along. Okay, so you need to have the course open and watching it. You can either do it on your smartphone while you're doing the video on your PC, or you can have it on your PC's background and do the editing on your PC. Okay, so let's go ahead and go through this step by step. I'm going to be dragging some raw footage. Basically, I'm going to be opening up Premiere Pro, creating a project, adding our sequence, importing our footage, making a few cuts to remove the silences and deleting them, and using our shortcuts, and we're going to be good to go. And we'll just do a few zoom ins here and there to make sure we have used our effect controls. So let's go ahead and dive straight in. The first thing I'm going to do is go ahead and launch Premiere Pro. So I'm going to click on it, give it a moment to load in. There we go. We're going to be greeted with our projects. We're going to be creating a new project since we're creating a new edit, and we're going to call it cut sample, whatever it is. And we're going to click on enter to create a new project. We're going to be greeted with this import scene, which we definitely want to skip. And then we get into our UI. Now, wait a minute. Our UI is all over the place. Things are confusing. Not really. Your project files is just in the top right, and over here in the bottom left, this whole place is empty. So we can just move this over to the bottom left like so, and then just resize it like so. Okay, just make sure we have our effects control here, rearrange everything. Everything's good to go. Let's start importing our footage. This is the footage which you guys can download down below. There it is. Here it is. You can just import it into your raw footage. Wait a minute, we forgot to do something very, very major, creating our sequence. So let's go ahead and undo that. Let's go ahead and go up to File, New, and Sequence. We've already created a sequence, so we can just double click on horizontal 1080p, and we're going to have a sequence with all of our settings. Now we can go ahead and import our footage. So let's go over to Premiere Pro Masterclass and drag in our raw footage, and there we go. And once I drag this into my timeline, you guys can finally see it. It's going to give us a warning. So what exactly is happening here? So the sequence is set to a certain settings that we think are ideal. My recorded footage is set to different settings. Why is that? Because sometimes when you record in cameras, you have small variants that play around, like the FPS is different, right? Or the framing is different, so on and so forth, which is super useful because now Premiere Pro can fix this for us by making sure that what it's telling us is the clip does not match the sequence settings. So we can either keep the existing settings of the sequence, or we can change them according to our clip. I want to keep the existing settings. I want to make my clip kind of follow my sequence settings, and there we go. We have our clip. Now let's go ahead and zoom in by holding down Alt and scrolling up on our timeline, and then just moving the slider back. Let's keep scrolling, keep scrolling, keep scrolling until we can see everything clearly. And this is a bit small, so I'm just going to bump this slider up like this and bump this slider up like this so I can see everything. And now let's quickly play through this over here. This is a sample video. A sample video is where I speak and I take a few pauses. Sometimes I might even say important things like this. Other times I'm probably going to say something absolutely useless. So it's a nice and simple 15-second sample video where I'm speaking and taking some pauses. And the first thing we want to do is cut out those silences. So how exactly do we do this? We have a silence from this point to this point. How do we cut it out? We click on C to get our razor tool out. We create a cut before the silence and a cut after the silence, as simple as this. So we've separated the edit before the silence and separated the edit after. We click on our selector and click on the middle and delete this. And there we go, we drag our footage back. Let's do it one more time. So click on C, click over here, let's make a cut before our next clip, make a cut before our silence, and then click on A for our selector, click on the clip in the center and backspace to delete it, and drag it back. Same thing one more time, click on C for your cuts, cut right before the silence, cut right after the silence, and then A to select it, backspace to delete, and bring our clip back. Now on the edges, we also have some silence. So over here, I'm gonna drag this back like so. Okay, and also just kind of delete all this section. And over here, just drag it back like so. And if we watch through this, we have a footage with some cuts. This is a sample video. A sample video is where I speak and I take a few pauses. Sometimes I might even say important things like this. Other times, I'm probably gonna say something absolutely useless. Awesome, and there we go. Now we've got a complete video with basic cuts. Once again, all that I've done here is I just selected my razor tool and I cut around my silences. So one before the silence and one after the silence, and I removed the silence or deleted it from the middle of the clip. Now the final part that we're going to be doing is we're going to be adding some zoom ins over here. So the first section I want it to be zoomed in on my face, so all I have to do is use my selector tool, select my clip, and then increase my scale like so. I want it to zoom in, let's say up to 140 like this. And then the next clip, I'm just gonna have it leave it as it is. The clip afterwards, I'm gonna just flip it upside down. So I'm just gonna rotate this 180 degrees. It's easier for me to type it. And the final clip, we're just going to have it zoom off of screen like that. Okay. So with that being said, now if you watch through it, this is a sample video. A sample video is where I speak and I take a few pauses. Sometimes I might even say important things like this. Other times I'm probably going to say something absolutely useless. And there we go. That is our edit. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is congratulations. It's your first ever edit. And you've basically used all the basics and fundamentals of Premiere Pro, like understanding the UI placement, understanding the basic tools, the effect controls, and all these different panels to create a simple edit like this. And believe it or not, this is important stepping stone so that we can now start learning the advanced things. And in the next series of courses, we're going to dive into all kinds of things which are going to make you an actual good editor, because right now you could just cut up some clips and put them together, but soon we're going to make you an amazing editor. So with that being said, guys, if you are following along and you've learned all this and you have no questions at all, let's go ahead and move into our next courses. And if you felt like I'm going too fast in here and you might be worried that I'm going to go way too fast when it comes to the complex things, don't worry at all. I've only gone too fast on the fundamentals because I know they're easy for people like you guys, which are focused editors who have watched editing videos in the past. And I also understand that this stuff is relatively easy to understand and relatively easy to pick up with enough practice. So if you guys feel like you need more practice, feel free to redo this exercise a few times. And if you guys feel like you're confident enough, let's go ahead and move on to our next courses.